As Avenger lies trapped in the web of the great black widow, and that hideous spider crawls ever closer, he finds his mind drifting off to simpler times, moments before he was embroiled in such madness as led him to this place. How could things have got this bad? How did he come to this? Well, now we get a little insight into his past, and a time that led to all these events. A time before he was Ninja. I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in quality. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of The Way of the Tiger. And we're back in the prequel book, Ninja, where we find ourselves on the Island of Plenty, not that far from the Isle of Tranquil Dreams. Now in the last episode, we arrived at Lemne and failed to obtain the banner here. We are on a mission to obtain 2 of the 5 banners with a 5-day time limit, of which one, I don't know, we arrived in the evening and it's night time. I'm not sure if that counts as the first day passed already. And one of the 5 contestants, Chigero, has headed off southwards to Nara. And there's Lemne, Nara, Takahiri, Suma and Nasaka to go. Our fellow contestant Gorobe, who we should remember from the first book, from the very beginning of the first book, in fact, was able to obtain the flag from Lemne. If we go to Nara, at this point here of the road, we're practically going backwards, and Chigaro has a head start. We are not allowed to harm our fellow contestants, nor are we permitted to take their flag from them. But they could still give one to us voluntarily. Given that Chigero has rushed off on his own to Nara, saying it's a waste of time trying to be here in Lemne, and that one of us could do the job, the rest of it, we didn't need to all stick around to do it. It makes me wonder if he is merely impatient, thinking that he's being pragmatic, or if he might actually be a traitor. Because one of the... I'm going to go back to the beginning now, we're on section 200.
I want to go back to the introduction to our fellow contestants. Oh, is that supposed to be... Blimey, not quite what I expected for Singing Wind. Looks a bit more Western than I'd anticipated. So, let's see. Aiko is the first of your rivals for the title of Grand Master. Like you, she wears a black ninja costume and she kneels nearby rechecking her equipment, so she may be diligent with an attention to details and wanting to make sure she has everything ready. Or she may be well equipped and prepared for all eventualities. Your other competitors are all shaven-headed monks of Quan. First is the towering Gorobei, who stretches against the mast as if he could push it over. He is your main rival, having nearly succeeded in this trial once before. Next is Daon, who leans against the wooden rail, staring out across the dark sea. He fled the island as a boy, his temple incinerated during the Black Lotus Rebellion, so he's a local. Last is the oldest competitor, Shigeru, a slight figure who has cultivated his spiritual power under a Grand Master in the mountains of the mainland. And, like Yaemon, the Grand Master of the Flame, he could be an imposter, not necessarily using borrowed sorcery, but possibly even just coming. He could almost be a monk of the Scarlet, what's it? It's the way of the Scorpion, isn't it? Not section 94, page 94. So, Shigeru has gone on ahead, and Gorobei has gained one of the pennants already. Since Nara, there's someone who's already gone on ahead and is very confident of his abilities and of ours. If he is as competent as he is... Oh, God. Confident. See, I knew I was going for a bit of wordplay there, and then I forgot the second word. If he is as competent as he is confident, then he will have already obtained the pennant by the time we arrive there. And it doesn't seem to be... It does seem we may be able to get to Takahiri and Nasaka, but it's not entirely clear if from Takahiri we will have a good option to get to Nasaka or not. And ignoring the two southern villages and heading straight north to Suma seems more puissant, given our situation. So we should be taking that option. 167. Incidentally, my copy of Shakespeare vs. Cthulhu arrived recently, and it is exactly what you expect it to be. Interestingly, Mr. Jonathan Green, the man who wrote the Chaos Warriors Fighting Fantasy book, yes, it was his first game book, and dear goodness, it's really difficult, because it's like your first combat encounter is against a skill 11 enemy. You know, it's a big numbers book where you can't really win unless you rolled a 10 on starting skill. And when I mentioned that to him at Fighting Fantasy Fest a few years back, he said, yes, a book with a good story hampered by bad game balance. It's like, yeah. So I'll see if I can get a copy and try again someday. Anyway, my physical copy of Shakespeare vs. Cthulhu, which is a game book by Jonathan Green, in which you play as William Shakespeare going up against the servants and manifestations of all the Call of Cthulhu stuff in some kind of weird twisted nightmare realm in which he goes through sort of twisted warped versions of his own plays warped by Cthulhu stuff. And hilariously, the combat skill is called stage combat. So it's like you do stunt stage combat against the monsters, and the higher your stage combat skill, the higher your real skill behind it is. And you're not fighting to be effective, you're fighting to look impressive, which might not actually work, right? But hilariously, he says there's 3 ways to play this book. You can play it like really hardcore, and when it gets to the 3rd way, it's like, or you could just cheat and ignore all the dice rolls, assume you always succeed. And he actually puts that in there as a viable option and encourages the player to do so if they want to. It's like, okay. I will be playing it soon, but I am waiting because there's a digital version coming, and I may share my first playthrough with you guys on the channel. Can't say I'll be successful, but if I'm not successful, I'll just share the one playthrough, and because, you know, it's a new book, you should get it and play it yourself. I don't want to sort of pirate the thing for you, essentially, you know, but I'm happy to give it a go on the channel, and then play off channel and have a lot of fun with it. So I would like the on-channel version to be my first attempt. So I'm waiting for that digital version. Originally there was going to be... Oh, wait a minute, I think I've got it. Hang on. Hang on. Is it already here? Bear with me. I have a distinct suspicion, because he wanted to send us a hot linked PDF so we could go straight to straight from one section to another, and that was taking longer to set up. Shakespeare versus Cthulhu, What Dreams May Come. Shakespeare versus Cthulhu, What Dreams May Come is unlike other books. In fact, it is the gateway to a world of Shakespearean drama and underlying cosmic horror, and an interactive adventure inspired by the works of both the Bard of Stratford and American horror author H.P. Lovecraft. I do have the PDF, so that could be suitably entertaining at some point. Little product preview. If you're still waiting for your copy and you are expecting a copy, then hey, I hope you guys get it soon. Anyway, let's get back to this adventure now. You jug. Right. You jog north along the Imperial Road to Suma as the dawn's first light swells in the sky. The white paved road abruptly changing into normal grey paving stones as you progress. You are disguised now as a simple traveller, and you make good progress. The countryside around you is verdant and dotted with various paddy fields where families are emerging to start their day's farming. At first, there are no other travellers except those breakfasting in post stations along the road, but soon you pass a few travellers carrying stock by palanquin and a small kabuki entertainment troupe. Oh, kabuki's brilliant. I had a beautiful book, a collection of masks to make by Christos Kondiatis, which I can only presume was a Greek name. And one of those was a kabuki mask, and it was very memorable. I understand a bit about kabuki, but I don't think I've ever seen a full kabuki play, and I'd like to do that at some point. You overhear the troupe talking about monks of the Scarlet Mantis whom they passed on the road. You pretend to rest on a log by the roadside and continue to overhear what you can until they are out of earshot. It appears that the monks, worshippers of Quon's twisted brother Vile, are waiting by the bridge upon the river to Ketsuiki, watching all who pass over it, apparently seeking out some followers of Quon. You decide to travel off-road. You keep to the high ground until you spot the bridge and distinctive red jackets of the monks that stand out like 5 blood-stained fingerprints in the distance. Now, Ketsuiki is the river. Got it, not one of the villages. Okay. You're just about to cross the river further upstream when you spot another potential problem. Behind you, you can just make out Daon and Aiko walking together along the road, and you decide it only fair to warn them of this threat, which is not part of the trial. It would have been interesting if the monks had been near Takahiri or Nara and we had been warned. But it makes more sense that it is the location we are reaching. And we only got as far as the river by morning. So be it. You appear out of the bushes alongside the road, calling over Daon and Aiko to tell them of the danger that lies ahead. They appear just as surprised as you to learn that the monks of the Scarlet Mantis were somehow expecting them. And note that Shigeru did not pass this way, but headed in the opposite direction. Before any of us... Well, we did have an opportunity to head that way with him. This does tie into the suspicion that he may be a traitor. I hope he's not. Okay, I really do. But we'll have to wait and see. We could simply travel upstream and find another crossing, Aiko says. We do not need to fight. No, we must confront them, Daon says, hitting his right fist into the palm of his left hand, and drive them and their contemptible ideology from the island. You say that you prefer to face them to learn more about how they knew to expect you all. On this point, everyone can agree, although Daon's eyes narrow. Only if these means searching their corpses, he adds. I was going to say at this point that there are 5 flags, 5 contestants. In order for at least one contestant to obtain 2 flags, then one contestant must gain none. Shigeru has gone off on his own. I suspect he may gain 1. I don't know if he'll get more. Also, we strongly suspect that Gorobei will gain a 2nd flag, meaning that Lemne and Nara are out of commission. Gorobei will gain 1 of these. And if we're going for Suma and Nasaka, Gorobei will get Takahiri, right? If Shigeru has set us up for an ambush and a betrayal, it would be interesting if there are more monks of the Scarlet Mantis in this area. Why are the monks here? Well, Yaemon, the Grand Master of the Flame, could have instructed them to come here because he has infiltrated our temple, right? Well, he's left it recently. But what I was thinking the other night is that in order for at least 2, possibly even 3 of the 5 contestants to gain no flags at all, it may be possible that some of them do not survive this mission. And on that note, we are indeed injured somewhat. You quickly hatch a plan between you. You and Aiko change into your ninja costumes and sneak under the cover of foliage to the riverside. You float underwater using your breathing tubes, which have barely been used in the main series at all. I think there was one instant I remember them being used in the main, possibly in book 1. Using your breathing tubes until directly under the bridge, where you grab handholds on the wooden arch but remain out of sight. Meanwhile, Daon has been slowly approaching the bridge on his own, much to the cruel chuckling of the 5 monks of the Scarlet Mantis, who crack their knuckles and remark that a solitary follower of Quan will be an easy kill. We are hiding under the bridge because Daon does not, he doesn't want to talk to them, he wants to kill them. But if we can hear them speaking first, before the fight, he still gets his fight, he doesn't have to socialize with them or anything, and we get our information and can share it with him. You look across to Aiko alongside you. You both nod and coordinate your attack. In a single fluid motion, together you vault over the bridge's barricade and launch its kicks into the shaven heads of your nearest opponents, who have no time even to raise an arm in defense. 2 monks fall with a thud against the wooden floor of the bridge. With 2 incapacitated, you and Aiko now fight 1 monk each, and Daon rushes in to engage the last. Like all of these monks, your opponent has a Scarlet Mantis tattooed on his forehead. His brow furrows in concentration as he prepares to match his martial arts against yours. We could try an Iron Fist punch, a leaping tiger kick, or a teeth of the tiger throw. The teeth of the tiger is... that's either the head or the leg sweep, isn't it? Head. You know what? He's a monk, and a trained combat martial artist, so he's more likely to expect this. But I think I will go for it, because I don't often get such an opportunity. You spring forward, trying to wrap your legs around your opponent's muscular neck. The Monk of the Scarlet Mantis has a defense of 6 against this. Let's do it. Let's see how much the dice roller hates us tonight. Just getting that in early. Probably shouldn't. 2 dice. A 7 is higher than a 6. Perfect. If you have thrown your monk successfully, you may either use the Iron Fist punch or the leaping tiger kick, adding 2 to the kick or punch modifier and damage for this attack only as the monk struggles to his feet. We've just knocked him down. A flying kick isn't our best option here, as he's on the ground. Although, as he's getting up, the Iron Fist punch is pretty straightforwards. The Cobra Strike punch would be more fun as he's rising to get him under the chin. So, as it's rising attacks then mainly, we will go for the kick. So, 57. And the monk has 14 endurance. Okay. 1 less than us, however. So it's not that... we're not that far ahead. In an explosive burst of power, you spring into a leaping tiger kick aimed at your monk's head. The Monk of the Scarlet Mantis has a defense of 7 against the leaping tiger kick, but we have a +2 modifier because he's regaining his footing. Eight plus 2 is 10. Perfect kick. I should have called Inner Force. I did not do so. We kick him, probably sending him reeling off balance for a bit for 7 points of damage. That's half the amount he can take, which means we could drop him with another kick or 2 punches. But wait. We threw him, so we get an extra 2 points of damage. No, 7 goes down to a 5, not up to a 9. It's damage, not healing. Okay. Oh. We have not killed the monk, in which case he feigns a kick, then tries to punch you in the kidneys. Your defense against this is 6. Okay, that could be a bit of a problem. Let's just see how we go. He gets a 7, which is success. We will attempt to block. Did that even roll? No, it didn't. I said roll. Okay, yeah, he hits us. It's fine. He strikes us for 3 points of damage, which does hurt. Admittedly. And we will need to be looking for opportunity to heal in this situation. If you're still alive, I think we'll throw again. I have a plan. And the plan goes throw then punch. You spring forward, trying to wrap your legs around your opponent's muscular neck. Let's give it a go. No. Damn it. Oh, well, he's just going to roll 2 dice back, isn't he? Ow. If you have failed to throw him, you land in a roll on the bridge and spring to your feet. You're off balance, though, and the monk repeatedly punches you in the ribs in an explosive frenzy of violence. Your hasty defense against this is a 6. You know what? I didn't incorporate my -2 for blocking. His counter, our failed throw, so He hits. We'll try to block again because why the hell not? And he still hits us, which hurts. 2 whole points of hurt. We'll have to live with it. This is starting to feel like fighting the brigands on the road in Book 2 who aren't really brigands. We need to get into a situation where he can fail to hit us without us needing to block to turn that into a fail. His defense would be 8 against a throw, 9 against a kick, presumably 8 against a punch. So, I think we'll go for the punch. It probably keeps us safest. That does not look very Way for Tiger. That looks more sort of Western. You drive an iron fist punch into the monk's gut, trying to blast the air from his body and rupture his internal organs. His defense is 8 because we tried to block. Well, no, it's 6, but we get -2. Well, at least it was a positive number. You know. We have not slain him, so he lashes out with a winged horse kicks, and our defense against this is 7. So punching better for this fight, definitely. That's a hit. We'll try a block. The dice gods do not like us tonight. 3 whole points. I mean, it's not lethal damage, but it's heading in that direction. We did try to block, so I think we'll just try to punch again, because we need to get to a no blocking situation. We've failed our punch. He absolutely nails it. No, he doesn't. Excellent. Now we'll go back for that throw. I'm not going to say it. Now I say it, because we only need to roll higher than a 6, and we got a 7. So we throw him down to the ground, then we'll go back for a punch with +2 to hit and damage. And we only need to do 5 damage for a kill, so good odds. He's down on the ground, so excellent, you know. Going in for that punch. Oh yes, a 9 is a definite punch. And our punch deals a whopping 5 points of damage, which is perfect. Unlike our combat report for this fight, which is less than ideal. But hey. It's like that episode of South Park, Fun Time with Weapons, when they think they're jumping around doing amazing manga bullshit with animated art style, and then the camera sort of goes back to real life, and they're all kind of just waving their weapons around, going, "Wah!" Not even touching each other or near enough to touch each other, and it looks really stupid. Possibly the best moment in that entire episode. Right. We have indeed slain the monk of the Scarlet Mantis, and it hurt. We need to be more careful going forwards. It also has occurred to me that since we have not been given any time tracking situation, such as in, is it the Teeth of the Tiger for Fighting Fantasy? Or there's something Fangs? The one where your hero is poisoned, and the poison is spreading through your system, and you literally have a diagram of a body broken down into sections, and you can fill in whatever section you want, but every time you fill in another section, more of the body's gone, and when you've filled in the whole body, you're dead. You know, so you have a time limit. And other adventures of it, we don't. So there's a time limit, but there's no time tracking system, which implies to me that whenever we reach a location, we will be moving along at the speed of plot. So essentially, when we get to Takahiri, right? So let's say, for instance, this takes 1, this takes 2, right? 1 to Suma, 2 to Nasaka. From Lemne, 1 to Nara, 2, a bit more than 2 to Takahiri. Then going to Nasaka would be going to a 3. So either there needs to be some kind of major hold-up along the road between Suma and Nasaka to make us arrive at the same time as if we had gone to Nara and Takahiri, or we will reach this junction where the river and the roads converge south of Nasaka and decide that we simply don't have time there and must push onto the mountains in order to make it to Eiga at the end of the adventure. The monk is felled by your last blow and lies unmoving. You see that Daon has executed a whirlpool throw on his opponent and finished him off with a vicious kick. Aiko catches her battered opponent with a teeth of the tiger throw, sending him toppling over the wooden barricade of the bridge and into the water below, which gushes red. Daon checks on the two that you and Aiko incapacitated earlier, but they are already dead. A moment passes, then suddenly the last monk you had felled springs up, having been feigning death, and breaks into a run. You hurl a shuriken at his back, as does Aiko, and the monk collapses again. You jog over and double-check that he is dead, just to be sure, and collect your shuriken. "Good throw," Daon comments. "Both of you." "I noticed we did not leave anyone alive for questioning," Aiko says. Daon grins and then conducts a quick search of the bodies before taking great delight in tossing them into the river. You're about to offer to help, but Aiko quickly advises you not to spoil his fun. Daon walks over and hands you an obsidian bracelet he found on one of the bodies. Note it on your character sheet. "Since you warned us of this ambush, this rightfully belongs to you. I sense it has some inner power, but I do not know its nature. You rest and share a quick meal of berries you have gathered along the way. You may restore up to 2 lost endurance points. Oh, hooray! That takes us back up to 9, or 45% of our total health. So we now have a... obsidian? Yes. So we took 8 damage, we've regained 2. Then you continue on the road to Sumo with the others, wary of further enemies. And, of course, of the competition. You and Aiko dress as travellers again and walk with Daon along the paved road north. The way grows busy with traders taking their wares to Lemne by palanquin, and you also see samurai patrols in green lacquered armour. We should see many of them again in Book 2. The sun is setting as you are admitted into the gates of Suma, and you pass by the harbour where foreign ships are strictly kept to their own docks. In the native area of the waterfront, you notice a warship called the Setsudanki, the dwarfs or lovers, manned by samurai in grey lacquer armour and flying a grey flag bearing the mons of 3 interlocking black rings. The chatter on the street is that the local daimyo Arai is hosting a banquet for a daimyo from the Northern Islands. You emerge out... I wonder if that daimyo from the Northern Islands might also be willing to give us a flag, and there may be a second opportunity here to make up for our previous loss, although probably not, because it probably doesn't even count as one of the ones for the competition. You emerge out before Suma Castle, which dominates the city, a vast defensive fortification set against the sea cliffs. The stone towers are marked with grey flags bearing the mons of a black moon, but from this distance you cannot see any that bear the golden trim you seek. The 3 of you head closer, passing numerous swordsmiths, armourers, and lacquerware enterprises that are closing for the night. In the background you hear the barking of dogs from somewhere inside the castle walls. You make discreet inquiries about the gold-trimmed flag, and you learn that it is said to be kept in a guarded room somewhere near the banquet hall of the castle. Aiko scrutinizes the outer wall and its moat. "It is at times like this I'm glad for the training of a ninja. Are you thinking to sit this one out, Daon?" "Ninja are not the only ones who can enter such a place," Daon replies. "The Grand Master of the Dawn let 2 daimyo know that we were coming, so that the tests do not always call for masters of stealth and trickery. We shall see who is first to find that flag inside. May Quan go with you both." Daon leaves at once. Aiko offers to work with you to find a way inside, but you tell her that you prefer to work on your own. like Kung Fury, and she too departs. We could use the 7 ways of going to enter Suma Castle disguised as a courtesan. We're a man. We're not gonna get very far disguised as a geisha girl. Use the 7 ways of going to enter Suma Castle disguised as a samurai. We would be expected to... Right. The courtesan has more free... Well, no, well, yeah, sort of. More freedom to move around. Decide that there may be easier flags to find elsewhere, and no, we're definitely not going to make that decision. Scale the outer wall to assess the castle defences. We do not have the skill of climbing until the beginning of Book 2. So, if we go in as a samurai... Right, if we go in as a courtesan, people are... Well... And if we stick to the areas we'd be allowed to go to, people are less likely to question us and just assume we're going about our business, possibly even to a late-night assignation with a with one of the courtiers. And who will question the reason why we might be sneaking about? If we go in disguised as a samurai, we won't need to be sneaky until we need to be sneaky. However, there's the green lacquered armour and grey lacquered armour. The green lacquered armour is the local, the grey that of the visitor. If we go in as a samurai, we are essentially a Japanese version of a knight, which means we answer to his lordship and his lordship's authority. It also means that duties and honours may be expected of us, which would not be expected of a courtesan. And there are 2 different groups of samurai there. I don't know if we will get to choose which group to disguise ourselves as. If we go disguised as a grey samurai and try to sneak around, the green samurai who are on guard will say, "Hey, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be sneaking around," and get suspicious. And if we go as a green samurai, we may meet a higher ranking samurai who gives us an order and expects us to do things. And we would need to get out of our armour to make our escape. Whereas if we're dressed as a courtesan, we may be able to keep that disguise for our exit. So we will disguise ourselves as a low-ranking courtier of the amorous persuasion whose passions are incredibly intense but rather short-lived, and who has affairs. Hoping that nobody expects us to do things for them. You head directly into the pleasure quarter to find a courtesan, and like the other nobles frequenting the area, you tie a handcloth over your nose and mouth to hide your identity. You enter a snake den and befriend a courtesan in a black dress called Winter Moonlight. You give her 10 silver coins to help disguise you, and she leads you to a hidden area in the back, where she lights a single candle to illuminate the small shrine to Vagar the Deceiver, god of thieves, liars, and cutthroats. She shows you where she keeps a spare set of her clothes and lets you use her makeup. She is so pleased at earning the money that she even agrees to help dress you and apply the makeup, and soon you stand before her mirror completely unrecognizable. You take a biwa, a lute that you have some basic skill at playing to complete the illusion, and make your way to the castle gates, a patterned fan hiding most of your face. A samurai in green lacquered armour stomps over to you. "All the other courtesans for the evening are already inside. You will need to come back another time." What will you say? "Please, I am a favourite of Daimyo Arai, and he will be most displeased if I am not permitted entry on this special night." Or, "I am a courtesan to Daimyo Arai's foreign dignitary, and I have been summoned from his ship in the harbour." More believable. Now, If we say we're a favourite courtesan of Daimyo Arai, the green lacquered armour, who serves Daimyo Arai, might say, bollocks, we know who his favourite is, she arrived earlier, or he doesn't have a favourite, he's gay, or something, right? If we say we come from the ship of the foreigner, he might say, wait here, we'll go and ask him, but I'll try it all the same. It's more believable because they don't know as much. If they were dressed in grey lacquered armour, I would go the other route. I may have committed a major faux pas. Who the fuck is this manga bitch? Sometimes... And why is this glowing so much? I hope that's just supposed to be light reflecting off it. Sometimes the artwork in the hardback collector's editions varies greatly in quality. More likely you've just come over from one of the city's pleasure houses, the samurai laughs. But I will not risk offending Daimyo Jikyu over it. I will be escorted to the banquet hall, and Daimyo Jikyu is the one who's a demon in disguise, and if we're escorted to the banquet hall, that might not be so good for us. 2 samurai step forward, and you follow them through the outer gate into the main courtyard that is patrolled by samurai and guard dogs, then on through the inner gate to the castle itself. You are led up the stairway in the castle. Will you try and knock your samurai guard unconscious? Two samurai guards? Or continue and follow them into the banquet hall with hope to slip away later on and hope we're not too heavily scrutinized. But if he does take us right over to Daimyo Jikyu and says, oh look, we brought your favourite just for you, and Daimyo Jikyu says, what? Who is this bitch? Or just plays along and is like, okay, you're my bitch now, you know. Let's follow them into the banquet hall for now, because trying to... I don't want to knock out the guards, because if I fail and they sound the alarm, there are dogs patrolling the courtyard who will gain my scent. This is all about the infiltration. You are led to a double doorway outside the banquet hall where a samurai captain in green lacquered armour and another in grey lacquered armour stands guard. The samurai guards with you explain your presence by the information you gave to the gate guards. This is not one of ours, the captain in the grey lacquered armour says. Nor ours, says the other. It seems we have an impostor. You think about fighting, but you have 4 samurai surrounding you with their katana now drawn, and you decide to bide your time, since you and Daimyo Arai have no reason to be enemies. And we might need to do a runner. I still think that trying to knock out the samurai guards would have been a bad mistake. Infiltrating as a samurai could have also been a mistake, but we'll have to wait and see. Your hands are bound behind you by rope, and you are escorted under armed guard to the main castle and taken to a room with 2 iron cages. All of your equipment is removed from you. Note, you cannot choose any option referring to your ninja equipment, including shuriken, until you replenish it. If you have the flag of Lemne, then fortunately you get to retain it, since you have it tucked under your clothing, and the guards miss it in their check. The only other item that is not taken from you is the obsidian bracelet, which the guards mistake for being part of your clothing. You are locked in 1 iron cage, ropes still on, and the samurai leave to fetch the overseer to report they have caught a ninja. I suspect this is not one of the daimyos who was informed of our mission. The cage opposite contains a monk of the Scarlet Mantis. His skin is marked with many bruises and lesions, his nose cracked with dried blood and his lips burst open. He sits cross-legged, unmoving, watching you with bloodshot eyes. Let me guess, he says. You are one of the followers of Quan that we were sent to Suma to stop. Never mind, for you now face a greater mutual threat. This daimyo will force you to fight for his edification. As the leader of my group of monks, I once had a bracelet that allowed me to resist the effects of the control chain, but I lost it in my last fight. He says nothing, waiting for you to continue. When he does not, you ask him his name. I am Yaris, he says. I have been forced to fight my brother monks in single combat until only I now remain. If you have some way to overcome the control chain they place on you, then during the fight you may get a chance to escape this accursed place, although it is ringed with samurai, and the attempt may yet be futile. If you can free me from this cage instead, I will show you a different way out of the castle. You point out that you owe no favours to any enemy of Quan. Be that as it may, I offer you a hidden way out and a temporary truce in exchange for my freedom. That is the deal. I would rather die freely than live as a Rai's puppet. You are silent. It is not long before 2 samurai arrive, open your cage, and put a lead chain around your neck that glows a soft green. They make a comment to Yaris that it will be his turn to fight again soon enough as they lead you outside to the banquet hall. Now, I don't know if he noticed the bracelet that we wear. I have a horrible feeling he will want us to give the bracelet to him, and then he will just turn on us, so let's be cautious of that and not do it. It seems we are to fight once again. You are led into a large hall where a young man on a raised platform is practicing sword moves with a veteran samurai, which, much to the amusement of the gathered crowd. He pauses to take a dramatic swig of sake offered by a maidservant, then turns to observe you. Although dressed in the style of a warrior, with swords and armour, he has golden braces and a gold-lined war fan bearing his mons that indicates that he is a daimyo. The hall itself has numerous guests and samurai present, all standing clear at the side of the room. The war fan is not the banner we need, is it? Guarding the platform are 4 samurai in green lacquer armour, hands on the hilts of their katana. A courtesan in the corner plucks the strings on her biwa, singing a tale about the usurper who stole the throne of Ersmancast. Her song comes to an abrupt end, although she continues to play her music, which punctuates the conversation. "Ah," Daimyo Arai says, for surely it is he. "So Daimyo Jikyu was right. The followers of Quan were trying to steal from me." "From me!" From behind you in the tall hall, 2 more samurai arrive with another prisoner. It is Daon, who also wears a control chain around his neck. His eyes show no recognition of you. The samurai use their wakizashi to cut the ropes that bind your hands, and likewise for Daon. "I have seen the skills of those of Vile who sought to sneak into my castle," Daimyo Arai says, "and now it is the turn of the followers of Quan to educate us all in the art of battle. You will fight each other to the death." You rub your wrists to remove the numbness from them. You survey the hall and feel a sudden rush of hope as Aiko steps onto the platform disguised as the maidservant refilling Daimyo Araki's sake. On her way back down, she glances at you and uses a hand signal known only to the ninja to see if she can help you. Make a note, if you indicate tools, that she should fetch your confiscated ninja equipment, or indicated prisoner, that she should free Yaris, the monk of the Scarlet Mantis, in the next room. Daimyo Arai raises his war fan, and, at the signal, the courtesan stops playing the biwa, leaving the room in a tense silence. Daon assumes a martial stance and warily circles you. The obsidian bracelet that you wear is somehow negating the effect of the control chain around your neck, but Daon wears no such bracelet. He will be fighting to kill, so you must buy time until Aiko can help you. You decide only to use throws against your fellow devotee of Quan. I think if we free the monk Yaris, he may honour his word and show us a way out of the castle, However, the monks of the Scarlet Mantis hate the monks of the Tiger and cannot really be trusted unless it is to be honourable. They can be very dishonourable and hateful in their way. So, that sounds very contradictory. What I mean is, we can trust him to hate us and try to kill us. More importantly, if Aiko goes to rescue him, she will realise he is a monk of the Scarlet Mantis, and he may kill her once freed from confinement. And we might not be able to get our ninja tools back as tool. So we'll go for tools. We chose tools, not prisoner. The dragon's tail throw, right, whirlpool of the teeth of the tiger, and the whirlpool throw. The whirlpool throw is the most basic one. It's very close to a basic aikido throw. I want to go for the dragon's tail throw, right? I do. I really do. I'm not sure how many rounds of... That was an interesting picture. There's two pictures with a sort of bluey purpley theme. So 116? Make a note of how many times you try to throw down. You slide in at his legs, casting aside your hesitation in attacking a friend. Daon's defense against the dragon's tail throw is 6. We're not doing anything to his endurance, but he can do damage. So, oh dear dice, please be kind to me. Please be nice. Let's roll the dice. Shit. Oh well. If you've successfully thrown down, then you may not follow up with... When you do not follow up with any kick or punch, and do not change any modifier. Instead, you gain some breathing space, and he will not counter-attack you at this time. If you fail to throw down, then he does not appear to recognise you due to the control chain, and twists his upper body to jab an elbow at your throat, and we're down on the ground. Your defense against this is 6, and you may block as normal. Right. If you're still alive and this was your third attack, so 1, 2, 3. 1 throw. Well, he will attack us. Unsurprisingly, that will hit. Ow. We'll just take the damage. Because if we attempt to block, we're just going to get sucked into a chain of not hitting and being killed. We'll take the 5 damage, which hurts a hell of a lot. Then I think we'll go for the whirlpool throw, because it probably offers us the highest defense against him. And hey, if we don't make it out of this fight alive, then we... Oh. Make a note of how many times you try to throw down. This will be the second. But it seems like he's either prepared for this one, or it's an automatic. He was prepared. You goad him to come in and attack you. His eyes show no recognition as he punches out. You grab his extended arm and yank it, starting your execution of a whirlpool throw, but Daon is an expert of this move, and is prepared, transferring his weight backward and performing a brutal sweeping kick to knock you from your feet. You take 1 die plus 4 damage from this attack, and have only 4 endurance points left, so there's no need to even roll. Clearly, Avenger has not correctly remembered the events of this trial, and we'll need to go back to the beginning and start again. This time, things will hopefully play out a bit differently, and we'll be a little more eager to go try our own luck in her ladyship's mansion. Alright, well that was a nasty session. I wonder how the samurai infiltration will go, and may indeed be trying it next time. Ooh. Now, In the comment section of a previous video, it was mentioned that I had messed up in Lemne by waiting to go for the secret door because it was a fate roll, and that I could have potentially made it through the mansion on my own while the others were deciding who should go through the secret door if I had the correct skills. It's about skills that set off traps and make noise, so I'm expecting acrobatics, which I do not have, climbing, which I do not have, or the skill of finding and disarming traps, which I've been informed is probably not the one to be used, so I might just be completely out of luck in that case anyway. I suppose I'll find out next time. For now, though, I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you've all enjoyed this one. I mean, you know what? I've enjoyed it even though it wasn't that successful. It was a valuable learning experience. And that is almost exactly what this trial should be. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in the very next one. I'll say goodbye for now though, and cheerio everyone. See you all soon.